Okay, what's inside this package genuinely might be one of the best iPhone mods ever made. I bought this off AliExpress, but this doesn't really seem like an AliExpress quality mod. I'm really excited to see what they did well and what they didn't, because this wasn't cheap. And there it is. Now, right off the bat, this kind of looks like an iPhone 17 Pro Max, but wait, there is so much more going on here. So if we pull this out of the plastic, I can already tell that they put a lot of care into this because one, there is a hue under the camera, which likely means there's a peel on the other side. There's also a peel on the LiDAR, and the quality really feels good. Like, this doesn't feel like a crappy aftermarket housing. Feels amazing. If we remove the black sticker, we reveal the Apple logo, which the position isn't exactly where it should be. Now, you're probably wondering what the hell this is. Well, it's actually a conversion kit to take an iPhone 14 Pro Max and make it look like an iPhone 17 Pro Max. But it doesn't just stop at looks, because this has a lot of the things that the real iPhone 17 Pro Max has. So you are getting some functionality out of it, but I have a ton of questions. Before we answer those, we have something else to tear down. This is Anker's Prime charger, capable of 160 watt charging with a single port being able to output 140 watts. It has 3 USB-C ports, so you can charge your phone, tablet, laptop, or all of them at the same time. But it also has a screen that shows what each port is pulling in real time. Now that we have it taken apart, you can see just how complex this thing actually is. Most chargers have only 4 PCBs, but this one, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Anker's calling it their extreme stacking technology, and next to a regular charger, you could see just how much they packed into this tiny brick. Inside, Anker is using GaN Prime 2.0 built around gallium nitride, which wastes less energy and generates less heat than traditional silicone. But GaN alone isn't enough to make a charger this small. The real trick is Anker's MBUK architecture. Instead of stepping down voltage in one big jump, it breaks that jump into smaller steps, which helps shrink the internal inductors to keep the charger as compact as possible. And with Power IQ 5, every 2 minutes, the charger can intelligently distribute power between multiple devices. Now you might be wondering, how is it that this thing can do all that and not overheat? Well, Anker also has Active Shield 4.0, which uses internal temperature sensors to run over 10 million temperature checks per day. There's also a ton of thermal putty and thermal pads on the perimeter. If you want to check out the Anker Prime charger, I'll have it linked in the description and pinned in the comments below. Thank you, Anker, for sponsoring the channel. Back to video. On the back here, the iPhone 14 Pro Max is obviously all glass, while the mod has that 17 Pro Max look with the glass cutout. This is better for durability in my opinion, but I wonder if you can find replacements for this glass. Up at the top here, that's where the first big problem is. The flash, the LiDAR, and the rear microphone have all been shifted to the right, and we'll find out exactly how they did that. But what intrigued me even more is if we turn it this way, the conversion mod has a camera control button. Now, I have absolutely no idea if this will work, but if we flip this over here, there's something else. There's the action button, and we've seen this before, but it's cool to know that this conversion mod didn't really take any shortcuts here. They did pretty much everything they could to make this as close to the 17 Pro Max as possible. The only thing that I'm not seeing is for the LiDAR. The LiDAR used to be here on the 14 Pro Max, and we're obviously going to move it over here, but I have no idea how this will connect to the motherboard. Let's just get started. If this all works out, this is a mod that pretty much anyone can do at home, and if you watch this video, well, it'll probably make your life a lot easier if you decide to try this. So first things first, obviously, we have the 2 pentalobe screws at the bottom. We're gonna hit this with an unscrew. With both of those removed, we just have to heat up the display. Now, full disclosure here, we bought this phone from Amazon Renewed, and I don't know what's going to be inside, so hopefully it looks normal. Now we can press our suction cup on, apply some pressure, and then apply a little bit of alcohol just to loosen everything up. One of the reasons I'm so excited for this mod specifically is because this screen has the dynamic island, where the other mods I've done in the past do not. That means that this will look the most realistic compared to any conversion mod I've ever done. Now we can go ahead and open it up. Holy crap, I got so lucky with this phone. It's absolutely mint. Everything looks OEM, nothing looks touched. We're all good to go. The first thing we're gonna have to do is obviously unscrew this plate over here. If you guys don't know, the iPhone 17 Pro Max looks very different compared to this. When you open that, you're welcomed by a metal sheet with the battery under. You can't see any of the internals. In my opinion, this phone actually looks better on the inside. Now we can go ahead and remove this shield, and then obviously we are going to disconnect the battery, the display, and the proximity sensor, and the screen is removed just like that. Because there's so many screws involved in this, we're gonna definitely need another mat because we have to stay as organized as possible. The easiest things to remove first from this 14 Pro Max are the front earpiece speaker and the front cameras, which aren't actually held in by screws. And when I take them out, I usually flip them upside down so they aren't exposed to dust or anything else. Next to come out is the motherboard. I'm taking extreme care here, removing everything so that when we reinstall it to the mod, it'll look clean as humanly possible. This little cable here is an antenna, which also has a microphone attached to it, and I didn't really see a slot for it on the mod, so I'm a bit worried, but we still have a lot of other components to remove. I'm actually using Apple's battery pull tabs here, which is a rare sight to see, to remove the battery, because this needs to look as pristine as possible when it comes out. Onto the charging port now, which is the worst of them all to remove, because not only are there a ton of screws, but there's layers of them, meaning staying organized is more important than ever. There's a few other things here that I removed, but you'll see what they are when I reinstall them on the mod. Everything has been disassembled from the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and now everything is ready to be assembled into the mod. The first thing we're going to install on this mod is the charging port, but before we do that, take a look at this. So if you look at the bottom here, you can see straight through the housing, which is not good. There's supposed to be meshes here, and that's the thing with these. Oh, what the hell? You can kind of see straight through the back glass. So installing the mesh on these guys is actually a little bit more annoying than you'd think. It's hard to get it in place. The first one you're going to install is right over here, and this is actually pulled from the iPhone 14 Pro Max, but I have many of them in stock if I need to use another one. We're going to just place it down, and boom, first mesh installed. We're gonna do that for the rest of them, and after we install it, we're actually gonna apply a tiny bit of glue just to make sure that it stays where it needs to, but not so much that we're blocking the speaker. The side clips are the next thing we need to install. These basically keep the screen down and clip onto this little area here so that it doesn't go anywhere. These can be a little bit tricky to install because they're on the side of the phone, but because there's nothing in here, there's nothing getting in our way. Now that we have most of the bare bones installed, we can get the charging port on. This is probably the most complex thing to remove and reinstall due to the amount of screws and components on it. This little rubber gasket is really important to reinstall just for water resistance, but overall, after this mod is complete, the phone probably isn't going to be anywhere near as water resistant as it is from the factory. We just want to do what we can when we can though. In case you forgot, this is a lightning port. It's not USB-C, which is going to be a strange sight for anyone who's looking at this phone. Imagine you're out with friends and they're like, oh, you have the new iPhone. Here's a USB-C cable to charge your phone. But no, you have lightning. There we go. It's starting to look a little bit more like a phone now. There's a bunch more components that we have to add to the charging port. The most annoying thing about working on an iPhone is the need to constantly switch between screwdrivers. I'm constantly rotating between Phillips, Tri-Point, Pentagon, Schmegon, all of them. It's really annoying. Installing the charging port and everything that was attached to it was pretty standard stuff. Next up, we have the LiDAR, which will not be standard at all. Obviously, it used to be over here, and boom, we've moved it there. The only thing is, how does it connect? Well, inside the box that we got, we also got a few other things. This appears to be the SIM tray and some sort of connection extender, which I can assume is for the LiDAR. The only thing that's really annoying is that there's no instructions for this stuff. Not that I can find at least, so you kind of just have to figure everything out on your own, which is fine for the most part, but for things like this, it would be helpful. We'll take the motherboard and we're going to try and place it down so we can kind of figure out what's going on here. And it's very strange because the LiDAR is now under the motherboard and it's not sitting amazingly flush, but because the iPhone 14 Pro Max is a little bit thinner than this mod, should be okay. The only thing that worries me is this connector here. I don't understand how I'm supposed to fold it in a way that it can connect to here without disconnecting down there. And by some miracle, I actually got it connected. It looks pretty bad, and I may not be doing this correctly, but as long as it works. The first real downside to this mod has emerged. So this cable over here has both a microphone and an antenna, and those won't be working properly with this mod. There is no microphone hole where there should be. There's one over here, but the microphone cannot reach there. And then on top of that, the antenna will be touching aluminum, whereas on the real 14 Pro Max housing, it's touching glass so that it can actually work. It won't be working properly on this one. We're still gonna install it though, because why not? Now we can properly install the motherboard. It's a bit crowded up here. We're gonna start connecting stuff to it because that'll help the cable stay in place. And I'm also going to insert the SIM card tray because it'll help keep the board in place as well. This is actually looking like a real phone now. We have a few more components like this antenna over here that we have to install. This is actually going above the flash, which is kind of weird. Hopefully everything sits flush. And this little black piece just pops right in here. It's how the speaker gets channeled through the earpiece area. There are definitely quite a few fitment issues with this housing. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad overall. Now we could take the earpiece speaker, smack that in. And I can't believe we are already at the rear cameras. So 2 of the rear cameras have a film on them to protect them. And then the one at the top, they just forgot about. Let's remove those 2 and get that rear camera installed. And holy crap, does it look real. Like from this angle, you are not able to tell the difference at all. We'll grab the shield that holds down the cameras and screw that in. We are getting so close to having this mod completely done. Just take a look at how pristine everything looks on the inside. I did my absolute best to keep this as good looking as possible, and so far it's working out. So the next thing we have to install is the battery, but we obviously removed the pull tabs. Thankfully, this mod actually came with its own pull tabs, which is quite nice. You obviously don't have to use a roller, but I do like this thing. With the pull tabs installed, all we have to do is remove the peel. Before we place the battery, I like to connect it so that we can get that perfect alignment. Otherwise, it may be slightly misaligned. There's only a few parts now, like the screen and the shields and the earpiece speaker mesh. I'm so excited to see if everything works while this thing is on. Let's get this finished up. We'll take the earpiece speaker mesh and apply this. This has to be one of the craziest mods I've ever done for an iPhone. And if you guys want to try this out yourself, it is hard, but if you do, I'll drop a link to this in the description. With everything now installed, we can finally press the screen into place. And this is the big moment, the moment of truth. Will this conversion kit work? Holy crap, it looks so realistic. We have the phone on now and everything seems to be working, which is nice, or so I thought. We did find a couple of downsides to doing this mod, and you'll see what those are in a second. It's absolutely crazy how convincing this mod is. So on this phone, we actually installed an app called JCID Doctor, not sponsored by the way, just a great way to test your phone, and we will be testing all the functions of this device because I want to be absolutely sure that everything is working. So first things first, we're going to take the charger, which is lightning. Strange sight to see. We're gonna plug that in and boom, it's charging. Will it wirelessly charge though? Let's find out. Pop that on and boom, charging. 0.5 is working, 1 times is working, 2 times is working, 3 times is working, and selfie cam is working too. We obviously have to test the buttons next. The first thing we're gonna test is the action button. So this functions and works, but it only works as a ringer. It's not an actual action button like the newer models. It just makes the phone go into silent mode or ring mode. The volume buttons all work, which is really nice. So does the power button, obviously. But the biggest question I have is, does the camera control button work? And to do that, we're gonna go into the camera app over here, and the moment of truth, we are going to press the button. Boom. It actually takes pictures. The thing is though, it's not touch sensitive like you'd think it would be. It's literally just a button and it makes a really loud noise when you click it. If you're wondering how it works, well, if I go back to the home screen and I click it a bunch of times, it becomes very apparent what they did. We'll be testing out Bluetooth in 2 ways. The first way is just by connecting AirPods and seeing if there are any issues, which there weren't. The second is with this app. It thoroughly tests any device and it actually exposed 2 major problems with this mod. The first being the LiDAR. We even confirmed that it was connected properly during this test, but it would not work no matter what we did. It's a good time to mention that I ran these tests before the mod, so this is definitely a new problem. The final problem is with the NFC. It won't work, likely due to the new housing material, which went from glass to aluminum. All in all, this is such a cool mod. It's probably the best conversion mod I've ever seen. There are obviously some downsides, but I don't know. I kind of think it was worth it. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell button. And if you're wondering if the back glass is compatible with the real 17 Pro Max, it's not, unfortunately. Peace.